All right. All right. Welcome. Greetings. Peace, blessings, and all. So they considerably cut down the time, so I'm going to run through this, and then I want to open it up to let y'all ask questions, so it can be a little bit more personal, a little bit more intimate. Okay. All right. So we all know that we're living in perilous times. Is that correct? Yes. We all know that things are going from bad to worse. We can see it. We can see that it seems like every decade things just continually get worse. I mean, it's like when you think it couldn't get any worse, what happens? It gets worse. All right, follow me? We're seeing what's happening. So everything's going to have to change concerning this, because anybody here know what an EMP is? Yes, sir. All right. So y'all pretty much informed. Electromagnetic pulse. Okay. Before we get on this community homestead and stuff like this, my question to you is, if an EMP hits here in Detroit, what's your plan? If an EMP hits anywhere where you live, what is your plan? Do you have a plan? Do you have a place to go? Are you mutually assistant with someone that you can trust? Because if you're not, you're in trouble, because these people are going to start killing each other to do whatever they can to take whatever you have. The sole purpose of actually obeying that Bible right there and doing what it says. Notice I said doing what it says. The Most High Yah set up a protection plan for you. Yes. That's what he did. But it has to be implemented. It must be implemented. All right. Now, we all know that we're staring right at an economic collapse, right? We know we're $22 trillion in debt, something like $200 trillion in Medicaid, Medicare, and unfunded liabilities. It simply can't be sustained. We know the dollar's collapsing. We're seeing Iran, Russia, and the people in the BRICS nations and all of them are actually opting out of the dollar. They're opting out of the dollar. And it's starting to lose it. It's already lost value because they have to print money in order to keep the system going. What you need is you need the mindset, instead of when you get paid, running and going to pay for your conveniences and all your lust and stuff, you need to start saving your money, putting it back, and having a game plan. You need a game plan to actually get out. That's what you need. Now, it's a hell of a lot easier if you actually have someone that you can, that two or three of y'all can get together and you can trust each other, because trust is real big. It's a whole lot easier if you can do it that way, because we have 4 or 5 families, just they all move collectively together in one big home in Clarksville, Tennessee. All right. And every one of them is out of debt now. And they have almost been able to save within 1 year that they couldn't do on their own, $60,000. Whoa. Iron sharpeneth iron. Do you think it's really talking about iron? It's talking about you. It's talking about you actually being next to your brother and sister, your neighbor. That's how you get sharpened, with each other. So you've got to change this mindset in order to implement this and make this happen, because it can happen. I am proof pudding that it can happen, and it's still happening regardless. Straightway, we're prepared. And even I don't think I can ever be content at actually saying that we're prepared to the level I would love to it. I don't think you can ever be that prepared, if you understand what I mean. But we're a whole lot better off, and we'll be able to survive if something ever take place and happened. Whereas if you look at a lot of people today, they can't survive because they simply don't want to go through the painstaking task to make the sacrifices in order to change so they can be better. Nobody wants to endure a little bit of pain and a little bit of inconvenience right now so you can live like no other people. Now, the first thing you have to do in order to be able to have a good homestead is to get out of debt. You can't prosper if you're going to take money that you get, and as soon as it hits your hand, you're going to have to go out and give it to somebody else. So you have to work diligently to get out of debt. I worked 3 jobs, and was saving money and at the same time getting out of debt. And then I did that for 6 months, then I went to 2 jobs. And then I found a job that I could make more money on one than I did at 2, but I still had to hustle. I saved the money, and then I had a little small assembly. We put the money together, and we put our resources together. And we put our resources together. We bought a piece of land, debt-free. We lived in very humble, extremely humble conditions. I actually went out and bought trailers, deplorable trailers. It actually cost me more to move these trailers, which is worse than a shack. Cost me more to move it than I actually paid for. Some of them I got for free. But all you really need is what? A roof over your head. Our running water was when we had 5-gallon buckets, we ran to the creek. My wife's bathtub for the longest is when I found a bathtub on the side of the road. And I stuck it inside of the bathroom that didn't have any running water. I poke a hole through the floor, I put a plastic tube with it, and she would take a bath every day. But she had to go run to the creek that's spring fed, and she filled up that tub with water. And if she wanted hot water, she simply just put wood on the stove. Anybody ever know that before civilization, here in this country right here, that people heated by wood? Yes. In other words, don't the Bible teach us to search for the old paths? Yes. And seek for the old paths? Yes. But we're not searching, we're too comfortable. Am I making sense? Yes, sir. You can't be 50, I'll be 53 years old in a few months. You can't be 53 years old and starting a homestead in the community because it's entirely too much work. But what you can do is you can have an elder there at 53 years old or 60 years old, and you can have young men there that could actually be submitted to the elder there, and y'all work together in common unity, and you could build this community. You could build a homestead. They're going to have a homestead more likely within maybe the next 6-7 months because all their debt is paid. They have $60,000, it's 4 or 5 families, and they have trust with each other. They have trust, and one man is in charge, but he's not lording over them. Does that make any sense? Yes, sir. He's not lording over them at all. Anybody, when's the last time somebody canned some food? Last night. Are you following me? This is something that our people did. That used to be the grocery store. You follow me? How long could you survive if these trucks stopped running? 2 days. All right? Because you're being wise. You've already stored food, right? You see what I mean? But for the majority, they don't have that knowledge. They don't even do it. So you see what I mean? You can't depend. We keep talking about depending on the system. We develop a welfare mentality. We develop a very entitlement mentality because all these government subsidiarities getting ready to stop. Right. Social Security is bankrupt, and I don't even understand that as much as I can wrap my head around it. How do you set up there when people are dying young and old, and you put money into a system that is supposed to be able to have a surplus? How is it already, the coffers is done run dry? Who's been dipping in the kitty? Are you following me? So I don't expect by the time I get 62, 65 or whatever age it is, I'm not depending on it to be there. You need to depend upon the knowledge and the wisdom that is given to you for you to be able to start implementing what the book said, what the book says. Amen. All right? Go to Acts chapter 2 real quick. You know, all that believe at all things. All right? So we already established that we need to get out of debt because the borrower is a servant to the lender. Is that correct? Yes, sir. Don't you understand when you're not obeying the Bible that you're in transgression? Yes, that you're sinning? Y'all get that? So you have to get out of debt. The reason why you get out of debt because you can do more faster. Now on our communities, we have very, very few trailers there. We have mostly homes there now. If we put a trailer there, it would be a hell of a lot better than what I first started. But you got to be able to make the sacrifice and be willing to live like nobody else in order to enjoy the fruits of your labor later. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. Go ahead and read, Elder.
Acts 2:42.
Yeah.
And they continued steadfastly in the apostles' doctrine and fellowship, and in breaking of bread and in prayers. And fear came upon every soul, and many wonders and signs were done by the apostles. And all that believed were together.
Stop. All that believe were what? Together. But are we really together? No. We're saying we're Israel. All right, so let's go back to what they call, quote unquote, the old covenant. Even in captivity, Israel were together. When they repented and they got free from captivity, they were together. We're here in this diaspora over here in the United States of America, and we're so scattered and so far apart. Right now, if somebody came and raided one of our homes, we don't have another place to go. But the book says that believers are together. And I submit to you that these apostles learned this from Yeshua. Because Yeshua said, unless a man forsake all that he has, he cannot be my disciple. Notice, forsake all that he has. Now we got to ask ourselves a question. What have you forsaken? And then he goes on to say that no man, having left his houses, fathers, mothers, brothers, and sisters, if you do it, you receive not only 100-fold in this time, but eternal life. Yes. Because the question came on this: good master, what must I do to inherit eternal life? Anybody familiar with these passages? Yes. Are you following me? So the word has got to get off the pages of the book to a practical application. Yes. We're intelligent enough to know how to discern what the word says, but somehow, some way, we're not intelligent enough to physically do it. Faith without works is dead. Did not Joseph, having the wisdom coming from Yah, stored up for the famine? And he was able to feed all these regions around about. Is that right? That's right. What have we done, and what madness is associated with us today, that we have lost our way and we're not even seeking for the old paths no more? We've loved modern day conveniences way, 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 way too much. Amen. So much we're robbed and spoiled. Amen. We're robbed and spoiled. Jeremiah 17:4, read, elder. Everybody all right so far? Yes, sir. So, the first order of business is you've got to get out of debt. Because the borrower, I'm going to be redundant, is a slave to the who? Lender. Read.
Thou, even thyself, shalt discontinue from thine inheritance that I gave thee, and I will cause thee to serve thine enemies in the land which thou knowest not.
Y'all hear that? I told the brothers maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I said, you know what y'all need to do? I said, y'all all need to go out and try to get your CDL. Because what you need to do is you need to get off of these jobs where you have somebody breathing down your neck and then tempting you, enticing you to break the commandments, the Sabbath. Y'all hear me? Because you can make a hell of a lot more money doing that than actually being in some retail store. Y'all making sense? And when you're doing this and you make this money, you start putting this money back. And you start thinking about putting this money into Israel and not out there where these people are. Let me ask you a question. How many times does a dollar circulate in our community? So we're robbed and spoiled. So we're robbed and spoiled in. How many of y'all sisters would love to do what the book says when it says you ought to be chaste keepers at home? How many sisters would love to do that? You see that, man? You see that, man? But they can't do it if you don't do your job. Because their livelihood depends on you. According to what I understand in the scripture, you can't even make a woman work outside of the home. But today, in order to survive, you got to have a 2-house income. Does anybody got any food storage? Okay, good. So who can survive for 30 days? Who can survive for 6 months? Who can survive for a year? It's starting to get less, isn't it? Who in here knows how to grow their own food? Look at here. Can you grow food in the winter? Yes. All seasons? Do you know what to plant? You know that in the wintertime is the time when people get sick. Is that correct? I'm going to try to keep this base. I'm not going to use these big old words like I do online, okay? All right? You know people get sick. Do you have first aid? Yes, sir. No? Do you? Yes. Are you able to take care of yourself? Do you know about essential oils? Yes. Do you have probiotics? Yes. Antibiotics? Yes. Do you have these things? And what are you going to do if you get really, really sick? I mean, well, I'll lay hands and say, hallelujah, heal me. Okay, that's good. But what if it don't work? What if he gave you the herb of the field for the service of man? And do you know a herb if you've seen one? Not in Kroger up here or Myers and all that. When you go by the herbs, there's herbs and then there it is right there. Do you know can you recognize this? Our people had all this knowledge and it's in the grave. It's in the grave because our mothers didn't want to pay attention to grandmama because they loved the convenience. Since our mothers didn't pay attention and our fathers didn't pay attention, we didn't pay attention because we learned the ways of the heathen. Ain't the customs of the heathen are vain? We've learned their ways. So much so to the point that we have discontinued from everything that the book says. So I'm here to put a defibrillator on our mind to help us out here. Exodus 15 verse 3. Everybody all right? Sir. Somebody, he said 5:30, so somebody, what time is it now? 5 o'clock. Okay, good. I'll be moving then, huh? All right. How many people have gold and silver? You know, that's barter. You know what bartering is, right? Yeah, you know what bartering is? Yes, sir. All right. You can use that because y'all's money has never went to zero in the history of mankind. Somebody say it ain't going to be no good. You can't eat silver. You can't eat gold. You may not eat if you don't have it. Because in Zimbabwe, it took a 10th ounce of gold just to be able to buy one loaf of bread. That was only $180 for that 10th ounce of gold at that time. Central banks and China is amassing and storing gold and silver out of this world. I mean, do you believe that there's gold in Fort Knox? I don't believe it. So everybody who is smarter than America, they're actually storing up all this gold and silver. You need a little bit to be able to barter with. You need to, hey, what about rubbing alcohol? What about booze? You ever go buy whiskey, cheap whiskey and cheap vodka? You know one thing you can use vodka for? Making tinctures. Anybody know what a tincture is? You can make your own medical supplies. Does that make sense? Yes, sir. You can do all this stuff. All this knowledge is there. But it has to be done. Read.
The Lord is a man of war.
He's a man of what?
War.
He's a man of what?
War.
Keep going.
The Lord is his name.
No, okay. Now go to Psalms 144 verse 1. So, guess what? I just did a message last Sabbath. Y'all to go on my channel and go over to Brother Darrell's channel, one of those channels, and actually see what it says about self-defense. Because if the electricity stopped, the truck stopped running and stuff, pretty soon there's going to be roving gangs. And they're going to be looking to take what you got. And you can't defend yourself using Gracie Jiu-Jitsu against 10 people. Am I making sense? Some people may have prohibitions, but hey, the Most High said that he's a man of war. Over in Genesis 14:14, don't go there. Y'all just keep it in your head. Abram armed his trained servants. Notice, trained servants. My brother over here is a retired Army Ranger. One Army Ranger can actually train a whole tribe. Hallelujah. Are you following me? Yes. See how important the things that we have been through would actually help? We need this. How many of y'all go to the range and shoot? How many of you shoot at least once a month? How many even own a bullet? Just a bullet, one bullet? How many own guns? Look at that. People own all these guns, but they have no bullets. What are you going to do, throw it at them? You got to change this. Are you following me? You've really, truly got to change this mind right here. You got to get this mind. Psalms 144, verse 1.
Blessed be the Lord, my strength, which teaches my hands to war.
To what?
To war.
And what?
And my fingers to fight.
And his fingers to what? Fight. Yahshua said, if you don't have a sword, sell your cloak and go buy one. Why are y'all disobeying? He's not telling you this because he thinks you want to have a gun collection so you can go show your friends. He's telling you this for a reason. You need this stuff. You need to be trained. You need to be armed. All this is part of Homestead, because after the Roving Games get out there and you see some snaggletooth redneck with a rebel flag come running down the road with 3 or 4 of his buddies, and they stop all of a sudden and go, what? They see a little homestead over here where you were supposed to be tucked off in the woods somewhere, and they come up on you. Now watch this. What if it's just a husband and wife? Hold on. My question is this. Who gonna pull security? Because soon you both gonna get tired. You can't be doing 12-hour shifts. That's why you need to be mutually assistant. That's why you need to develop, Israel, strong relationships. All it takes is about 4 families here, 5 families here to be faithful and true to what that book says. This is how you develop a homestead. Because you can't do it by yourself. If the homestead, you know that is going to get overrun, do you have a contingency plan? Who are you mutually assisting with that you could actually communicate with and actually get to them? Are you in shape? Can you walk 10 miles a day? Can you? Can you walk 10 miles a day? We're not talking about on the road either. We're talking about through the woods. Because you have to go undetected. You got to be able to move. See, all this stuff you need to be thinking about. Nobody is going to do this for you. I do not depend on this system for my livelihood. When electricity goes out in the country like it often does, and we just went through a tornado, we don't never miss a beat. If we need our sisters, they need to cook food. You know what they do? They fire up the wood stove. Anybody know how to cook on the wood stove? That's beautiful. But look at it. Look at the demographics of the people that know how to cook on the wood stove, though. There ain't nobody in here young that know how to do it. Do you know how to build a fire?
Yes.
Without a lighter. Are y'all listening to me? This is real talk. Do you have clean water? Do you have a life straw? Do you have a water filtration system? Do you have any water stored? And I'm not talking about in your pipes at home either. Do you have water, literally, stored? All of these are things you need to consider. You need to be doing, because nobody's going to do them for you. If you're going to start prepping, if you're going to start doing homestead, do not communicate with people who y'all's not dealing with.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Because you keep running your mouth, and especially if it's family. Because Yahshua said a man's own foe shall be they of his own household. They're going to come over you, and they're going to expect you to, they're going to depend on you to take care of them. I call that the heightened sense of selfishness. You mean to tell me you had the opportunity to prepare? I told you over and over again, and now you want to come and eat up my food and my children's food? You want me to take care of you when you ignored the possibility to actually being able to be ready for your own self? That is selfishness. That is being very inconsiderate. So if you start running your mouth telling everybody, well, I'm doing this, doing that, guess what? That cousin you hate, guess what they're going to show up at when the trucks ain't running to the store? The ones that don't keep the commandments and expect for you to take care of them. It didn't say save them. It says save yourselves from this untoward generation. Do you hear that? Yes, save yourselves from this untoward generation. That's what it said. Well, what about I love Uncle Bubba? Save yourselves. This is real talk. All this is in the book. Do you know I go on a raid? Do you know how to scout? Do you know how to set a perimeter? Something. Because I'm real. I'm being for real. Do you know how to do these things, or are you too busy Netflixing? Wasting time. I mean, when you get finished doing all these things, then go do a little bit of Netflix, but don't stay there too long. I submit to you that our problem is that we got too many movies and too many TV shows that make us mind numb, and we put more time, energy, and effort, which ain't too much effort, into them every single week than we do in our own preparations. I guarantee you we'll soak and immerse ourselves in a 2-hour movie and won't spend 15 minutes with y'all in prayer or the word. How can a people like this expect to have any wisdom? Men, you got a great responsibility.
Yes, sir.
You're supposed to be the builders, the protectors, the providers. See the reason why a lot of our women are out working today? Because they can't depend on you. Women, you need to know how to shut your mouth.
Hallelujah.
Really. A wise woman builds a house, but a foolish woman does what? Pluck it down with her what? Isn't that amazing? You need to learn how to shut up and support. You need to learn how to build up this man. Even if they don't even know the word, you by your chaste conversation, coupled with fear, you should be able to encourage that man so much to the point that even if he can't do nothing, if he can't rub two sticks together, say, baby, that was the best 2 rub sticks I ever seen in my life. Because if you don't encourage him, you don't build him up, then guess what? You're destroying yourself and you're destroying the children. This making sense?
Help us.
Okay. Are y'all all right?
Yes, sir.
What I got you at right now? That's okay. How many got a good pair of hiking boots? Man, that's good. That's good. All right. How many of you got warm clothes? Anybody live up in this Detroit area? Who lives in Detroit up here? You mean tell me that we're having this conference, that's all the people from Detroit? How about Michigan? That's it? Boy, y'all got a whole state against you. If you start doing this, you got a whole state against you. Because they coming for you. They coming for what you got. Anybody know self-defense? Boy, we got a long way to go, don't we? We got a long way to go. Anybody got any toilet paper? I'm not talking about just 2 or 3 rolls either. I mean, come on. You got toilet paper? What you gonna do when you run out of toilet paper? What do you do when you burn up all the leaves? Huh? Do you have an irrigation bottle? Do you even know what an irrigation bottle is? You can use that irrigation bottle and clean your ass for a whole 2 years without toilet paper.
Talk to us.
If your husband gets shot, do you know how to dress a gunshot wound? Do you know how to apply? What is a tourniquet? Do you know how to apply a tourniquet? Y'all hear me? Do you know these things? See, you've got to educate yourself because nobody's going to do it for you. So we've already established that we first of all, we need to get out of debt in order to get out of this city. And once we get on our homestead, we need to learn how to secure it. We have to build and secure it. We need to store food and good clean water. Is that right? Is that right? And we need to find somebody to be mutually assistant with that is actually going to help us and assist us while we help assist them, that we can trust just in case opposition get overran. Because I got a question to ask you. Do you trust these people in this city? They're going to be benevolent to you when crap hits the fan? I don't. You got a shovel? How many have candles in their home? Oh man, that's good. Man, we're doing pretty good right there. We have toilet paper and candles. Okay, do you have a backup plan? What is your backup plan? Have you even thought about a backup plan? Men, it ain't up to the women to think about all this. That's your responsibility. That's your job. Y'all hear me? You got to get off your 4-point of contact. Excuse me. You got to get off your rear end. Because if you're not motivated to do this, your wife is not, she's going to get frustrated trying to push you and encourage you to do this. This should be something already in you to protect your family, to provide for your family, and not do it the way that the system has taught us to do it. Do you have a community of people that you're working with or networking with? In your prospective areas. See, what you should do while you're here at this conference, if you live in the same state, you should actually, we're Israelites, right? You should actually be getting each other phone numbers and address.
That's right.
And make sure you discern who you're getting the phone number and address from. Because here everybody look good. But they without us cannot be made perfect. Talking about the ones that gone on before us, right? We can't go on to perfection, continue to keep doing these same things. So my question to you is are you going to come out of her? You're going to come out from among them? Because it is a commandment to be separate. Does it not say that?
Yeah.
Come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the master, and touch not the unclean thing. Is this world unclean around us? Why are you still living around them? Why ain't your neighbors Israelites? That's keeping the commandments. You can't do it by yourself. Oh, y'all hear me? Yes, sir. All right. We got much time, so if y'all have any questions, let's hear it. Yes, ma'am. Let me give you the answers, okay? All right. Only way I can give you answers is by giving the model of what we do. Okay? Give you the model of what we do. All right, I've been doing communities for over 20-something years. All right, 21 years, something like that to be exact. Matter of fact, longer than that because I started earlier, right? I've been doing it for that long. Do you know I had to go against being ostracized, being talked about, being called a cult leader, and all this. Everything to keep you from doing what Yah says. You're going to be willing to be disparaged. Because all the people that talk about me like that, you should see the shape that they're in today. You follow me? Right now, both my parents are elderly. They're 80 years old. All right? They're 80 years old and neither one of them can walk. Guess who takes care of them? The community. Did y'all hear me? The community. We have single people on the community. But once they get to the community and stuff, it ain't too long. They get Google eyes and they see somebody and they want to get married. Are you following me? And we form marriages. You follow me? Hey, we understand all this? Yes, okay, so if somebody passes away on our community, are you following me? If a woman let's say if a woman is a widow out here, who takes care of you? Who provides you? Somebody passed away on our community. Guess who takes care of the widows? The community does. This is following the model over there that the book is laid out for us. Are you following me? So if you don't have anybody around you, move. I can't move. If your house was on fire, would you move? If an earthquake was coming, would you move? If a tsunami hit you, would you move? You follow me? I have no place to go. Well, see, we vet people before we allow people to come to communities, because we're slowly but surely getting places prepared, but we don't have people prepared for the places. Because when you come to one of our places like this, we don't tolerate sin or your attitude. We all have one heart, one soul, one mind. Our women don't talk back to the men, and the men don't mistreat and abuse the women. We don't have that. Men don't sit up there and stare our sisters down and stuff, because the sisters usually work in another area and the brothers off in another area. They don't hang around the sisters and stuff, and nobody has to worry about their wives or being looked at or being stalked. We have a very safe environment. We school our children. The Bible says, train up your child, right? But right now, the system that we all hate is training them up. So what you have to do is find some people in that state. That's why I said here, y'all need to start getting together. Now, hey, every time we have feast days, that's our lead trainer right there. That is our lead trainer right there. He trains all the saints. And he has a team down there that trains both male and female. When he came to the ministry, he said, Pastor, this is what I got. I said, what are you? He said, I'm an Army Ranger. I said, good, take your job. You can't ask for nothing no better than that. Y'all does provide. But you know what? I had a difficult time getting brothers out there to train. They carry guns, but they don't know how to use them. So find somebody here at this meeting that could be in your state. Trade numbers. Start. You want to come to the feast day with us? Their tabernacle's coming up. All right, we have to vet you to see if you're worthy to come and stay on our land, because we don't allow hoodlums on the land. We had like 600 something people on the land at Passover, almost 700 people. Staying in tents. Can you stay in a tent for 6-7 days? Can you do that? You know what I mean? Yeah, in the cold. When it's raining. Do you have the intestinal fortitude? Can you do these things? Can you inconvenience yourself? If you don't, what you should do is go buy a tent and then find somebody to place, not your backyard either. You need to start putting all this stuff to test to see if you can do this, because you're going to have to get out of these cities, because these cities are not a refuge. They're not a safe place for you. Yes, ma'am. Again, y'all listen to me. Again, you're going to have to find people in your prospective areas that has one heart, one soul, one mind, one spirit. Are y'all listening to me? Yes, sir. And if you don't have them there, you may have to change. You're going to have to change your mind. If there's no faithful Israelites there, move. Well, I don't want to move. I like my place. Stay there.
But how do you know?
How do I know what?
How do we know where they are?
Again, how you know where they are? You know, I'm going to say this. You know how many communities in Straightway we have around this United States? We got 9 of them, and they're growing. Isn't that a good? That's a good question. She said, "How will she make a living on the community?" Guess what? None of our sisters work on a job. Huh? We've got widows and single women on the community. I know it's hard to wrap your head around it. I know that the men is the one who bring in the income. The men is the one who works and bring in income. And we put all our resources together in one pot. Because the book of Acts says in Acts chapter 4, and it says in Acts chapter 2. Well, who's going to manage the money? Me. Ain't nobody in the world manage it better than me.
That's right. Hallelujah. That's right. Hallelujah.
Well, I can't trust you. Then don't come. Don't need you. I take money that comes in, and I put money in all these communities. I purchase communities and homes on the communities and put people own the communities and an elder over the communities, and then they run the community. I can't be in 5,000 places at one time. That's why the elders that rule well, let them be counted what? Worthy of what? Double honor.
Double honor.
So if I go out and buy these lands when people bring in the money and the food, the resources and stuff, and I buy the homes and I buy the building material and stuff, and I end up buying land and putting homes on there, somebody got to live in them. And then when somebody lives in them, you follow me? Guess what? We just had somebody sold their house. And the equity they had left over was $54,000. She ain't even own a community. She still lives in the same old state that she is. She gave it by faith. Now guess who's responsible for her? Straightway is. And guess what? We already got a place for her to stay. It's being built right now.
Hallelujah.
But see, we wasn't going to tell her. If she's listening, she doesn't let the cat out of the bag now. And guess what she's going to be at? She's going to be under that elder over there, around that elder. And that elder is responsible to take care of her.
Hallelujah.
And she's a single woman. That's the best $54,000 she ever gave. And she's surrounded with sisters that's going to be able to take care of her when she gets a little older for the rest of her days. Am I making any sense? If you want to see this being done, you have to call the number behind me on YouTube. And then set up a time to actually, we'll let you come visit the community because Straightway is already compromised. But y'all don't know where all the rest of the communities are. You see what I mean? So I'm going to start, I got a Pateron account. Anybody know what Pateron is? Yeah. I have a Pateron account, but you have to sign up for $1. If you want to have different levels, I do things. But I'll start talking more about this if you want to hear it. If you want to hear it, I'll leave all the homestead and community stuff at the $1 level. If you want to hear it. Yes, ma'am.
Can you talk a little bit about the roles? Because I think from the questions that people are asking, it's like they're not clear on how the roles work on the communities that you have.
Okay. On each community, there's usually a sister that is kind of like over the sisters. She's not lording over them. Okay, so our sisters, they wash, they cook, they clean, and they school the children. The men, we build, we work, we garden. Sometimes the sisters get out there and garden. We provide, we secure, we protect, and we provide conjugal rights to our wives. That's what we're supposed to do.
That's right.
All right. You follow me? So the men have their role, and the women have their role. Well, what if I got families on the communities where the husband don't work outside on the land because he can't have every man outside the land. So what do? How do they get money? I mean, think about this for a second. You live on a community, and you are a family, and you have 3 children, and you're working on the land. And there are other brothers working on the land, bringing in resources and funds, but you don't have any income. Man, how do you live? How do you live? You know how they live? First of all, they don't have a food bill. They don't have a clothing bill. They do not have an electric bill. They don't have a car note. They don't have to pay car insurance. Y'all hearing all this?
Yes, sir.
And whenever, you know how far $100 go? When you don't have to owe nobody nothing? You know how far $200 go? I mean, a brother say, Pastor, can I have some funds? How much you want, man? Maybe $200. Here's $300.
As they need.
Then guess what? Yeah, they get it as they need, and then because they're not going to turn around and waste the stuff. You understand what I mean? You know how long $300 lasts when you don't have no bills? Well, I don't want to come and ask. I feel like it's messing up my manhood. Ask, and you shall receive. Seek, and you shall find. Knock, and it shall be opened unto you. To everyone asketh, receiveth. And the one that seeketh, findeth. And one that knock, it opens. See, when those words get off the pages of that book, get into the heart, come to the practical application, then it's revealed to you. I can tell you all day long how to do it, what to do, and the way to go about doing it. But you even got to have faith to even implement it and do it.
Amen. Amen.
Yes, sir.
My question is, in starting a community like that and organizing it, the ownership of the property and the buildings, do you set it up in like a trust or do individuals own it? How do you protect the assets within the community from a government that wants to take and thinks they own everything? I think it was you or someone mentioned yesterday, or maybe it was today, about not filing paperwork or what have you.
Mm-hmm.
Are you an advocate of, like filing a UCC1 and, extracting yourself fully out of the system and not having the government having access, to your straw man and to your property and all those kind of things? Can you speak on that a little?
Sure, I can. Okay. That big, tall black man over there, that's Kabir Bijabil-Amelia. He's a Green Bay Packer Hall of Famer defensive end. All right? Not only that, he's a certified CFP, certified financial planner. One of the few black people in America that has passed the test, that is actually in those meetings. Highly intelligent, know what the hell he's doing. He just got finished putting his stuff into a trust, and guess what? Now that I have him on our team straightway. All this land that we own that we just have in the name of either assembly or some of it's in my name, guess what we can do? Put it all into a trust, make the bylaws, all right, put the rules down so that when someone come behind us, to make sure that this trust runs out until Yeshua comes. Hallelujah. So that no unjust rulers get any thoughts and get a hold of it, because who's to say that when I'm gone, a just man is going to be behind me? See, the people can trust me because they see the footprint. They see my manner of lifestyle. And they can trust each other in the communities, but can they trust you? And can you be trusted? Hey, Kabir, how about on your channel you talk about trust? Can you do that? Just talk about how to set it up. All right? Y'all seen his YouTube channel, right? If you don't, go to my YouTube channel. You'll see on the right-hand side, you'll see KGB 94. And he has videos out and all these teachers. If y'all want to get in if y'all want to be immersed part of the ministry, you want to learn this stuff, at least make yourself available, because we talk about everything. Social, political, economics, religious perspectives and point of view. And not only do we talk about it, we literally do it. I'm trying to teach you how to be free so you can live like no other and truly be free. Pastor, you had a question?
I did. I think it would be very valuable for everybody in here that's looking to move on a community to understand the disciplinary. I think it would be very valuable for people who are looking to be on the community to understand the disciplinary processes of being a part of the community, on how you live, how do you maintain, what do you do if you happen to fall under a issue and dealing with a matter in the community. What do you do if you're not following the plan of the community? You decide that you want to go away from what the standard of living would be for the community.
Okay. We have an order set up of elders where we adjudicate all matters. We don't go to the world. 1 Corinthians 6, remember, dare if you had a matter against another and go before the unjust rather than the just and not before the saints? We don't do that. We actually have elders that because nobody, when they come to the ministry, their experience is so impactful because they say, I've never seen a people like this and met a people like this. It's so true, so loving and so kind, and nobody wants to leave it unless they get some type of spirit in them where they just lie. And we have that too happening, flat out. But if we have issues in the community and it can't be resolved between the two, then what does the book teach you? You bring two or more, don't you? If it can't be resolved, then it goes up to the assembly. All right, so we have an ecclesiastical order where we adjudicate matters, but we have the clear understanding that whatever we come to, that's what you're going to do. And if you can't comply with it, then we can't have you. Because then what does the book tell you like that? Let him be as a heathen and a publican. Does it not say that? Yes, sir. Does it not say that? So we do everything justly. I know the reservations and fears that you have, because when you're trying to do something with a whole bunch of total different strangers and you don't know them, all these fears comes up. All these uncertainties come up. But that's Satan doing nothing but tempting you to keep you from actually going on the path you should be. I mean, y'all should say, come on out on the water, it's fine. He was there, just come on out on the water, it's fine. Everything can't be done and have everything lined up for you. That's why I said, rather than everybody trying to come the straight way, why can't we just get 2 or 3 families in one state to start at least fellowshipping with each other so that you can learn each other and be around each other, have fellowship with each other. I mean, I probably have over 2,000 people that's watching my live feed every single Sabbath, if not more. And they're there, homesteads. We have homesteads that's got like 25 people in it. Elder Rufus and them watched the service down there where they're at. And how many people show up for the service down there in Georgia? 45 and 50 people in one place watching one little monitor. And then you know what they do? They all sit there and they eat, they fellowship, having a Shabbat. The majority of the time when people come, they come on the 6th day because they don't have to travel on the Sabbath day. Because our tabernacle is built right there on the land. We build it ourselves. We have a tabernacle, we have a gym, we have a small guest home, and then if we run out of room where we keeping guests, almost every single home, well, at least 2 or 3, well, 4 or 5 of them has spare bedrooms, so when you come, you don't have to stay out there in the hotel. You don't have to put that money in the world. You come and stay on the land. By the way, the Bible says when you go into a city, you inquire who's worthy, who is that with y'all, and there abide. And there abide. See, we don't know each other, but we need to know each other. That's what we're going to have to do. We need to learn. We need to know each, and you're going to be willing to do it. And you can't just haphazardly show up one Sabbath and then don't show up for 3 more. Because you're going to get checked. We need some fidelity, some faithfulness. Is that making sense? Yes, sir.
Pastor, what's your source of electricity?
The power company.
Okay.
And solar.
Solar.
And generators.
Okay.
And wood.
Multiple.
Huh? No, we're not totally, but we're getting there. We're slowly, because think about it. Y'all know what a fourplex is, right? It's like 4 different living areas. Okay? It cost me, anybody got $37,000? It cost me $37,000 to put a 90 amp service in that building. 90 amps can service the whole thing, believe it or not. You don't really need 200 amps of service. I've taken 4 trailers, the dining hall and the shower house, and ran it off one pole. I lived on 20 amps of service for 9 years in the home. So you don't have to do things the way they say. And when you buy land, look for stuff that's unrestricted. Look for land that has water on it. Yep. Water is one of the sources of life. You need that. Did I answer the question? Oh, who's over here? Hold on, Zach. Go ahead, Mama.
Pastor, I don't know if this question is appropriate, but in the community, is it one wife, one husband?
No. In some communities it is. We don't, if a man has one wife and that's the way he wants, he's content, fine. Good. I got 3.
Okay.
And I take care of all of them. Food, clothing, conjugal rights. That ain't an inappropriate question. There's no elephant in the room. There ain't one question I won't answer or tackle. I'm not like the rest of these people, hide behind a certain way they want people to think that they are. Now I ask you a question. Is it more honorable for a man to be able to take care of a woman, or is it more honorable for a man to have 2 or 3 honeys and the other ones they don't know about each other, or if they do know about each other, they don't say nothing? Because my 3 are close knit. Y'all see my debate on biblical polygyny? I tore this guy up, ripped him apart. It wasn't even a debate, was it? It was a slaughter, wasn't it? A literal slaughter. So we have people that sing. Matter of fact, I said in the beginning that when we went this way, we started this way, less than 5% of the people would participate in polygyny. And is it not holding true?
Yes, sir.
We only have in the whole of all that is going on, we don't have no more than maybe 12 polygynous families. Now polygynous families are coming to the ministry. because they can't find another place out there to actually go to. So I got 3 Ishaiahs. And guess what? They all love me. They all say, what a beautiful, honorable man you are. What a good man you are. Uh-huh. And then my wife I've been married to for like 36 years. Something like that. They all rise up and call her blessed. Sister Carol got her own beauty product business. I mean, it ain't no makeup or nothing like that, but I mean, she got a nice, you got some Carol L? Yeah, she go, well, I got some Carol L. What? You can learn all this on my website and stuff. I mean, we got a dang good thing going. So no, it's not mandatory for a man to have more than one Ishaiah. It's not. Anybody else?
What's your website?
www.straightway, that's STRAITWAY, straightway.com. Huh? 541. 541. That's it? Somebody gonna come and get us? Yes. Well, we'll go to 6 then. All right, anybody got, yes ma'am.
Speak more on the type of land, because you did say have water. What about, should it be up on a hill, a mountain?
Well, I'll tell you what, when you come straightway, it seems like we're a bunch of billy goats. Because we have flat land at the bottom, and then we have a hill that we just got finished having a dozer, and we cut 3 different pads to be able to add 2 more homes on there. And then we have an up part here. We have 50 acres up there. And then up there in Straightway, Kentucky, they have mostly flat land with a creek that runs down a part of it all the time. We have a creek that runs adjacent to ours, all spring fed. All spring fed. And it runs next to us. So ours is, you can do a community on any kind of land, but make sure that you can service it though. Are you following me? Make sure you can serve. You do need, I would suggest, if you can find some land, and the best you can do, because it's cheaper if you have rolling land. But if you find flat land, it's easier to work and more farmable. Does that make sense? And we've learned that it's better for you to have raised beds than to do it the traditional way. You can grow more food in raised beds. And the way we do raised beds is we take concrete blocks, 8-inch blocks, and you can make it either as wide or long as you can. And that way our sisters, when they're weeding, they sit on the blocks. And when we plant the food, you can put more. If I had put this raised bed about 4 foot wide and put it to that wall right there, I could grow more food in this one raised bed than I could on a 1/4 acre of land. Wow. And we have greenhouses. We have greenhouses too there on the land too. When I get back home, I'll make some videos, show you the land. I'll show you exactly what I'm doing. So before next week, I'll show you some of the things we're doing, what we have done, and I'll put it on YouTube for you to see.
One more question, Pastor. What do you think about hydroponic gardening?
I think it's pretty good. I think that if the system collapses or something where you don't have any electricity, it's going to be rough for you. You follow me? It's going to be rough for you. Because you got to have a good irrigation system, and where are you going to get? Do you have a sump pump? Not a sump pump. You got to have what do they call those pumps? Like a propeller, you stick in the ground, in the water. You see what I mean? It's going to be rough on you.
Yeah. You just said y'all grow y'all own food, y'all have cattle and all that.
Yeah, we have cows, and we shoot deer, we hunt turkey, and we raise our own chickens.
So y'all slaughter all y'all?
Yeah, you can see them on YouTube. If y'all go to Pastor Dowell chicken butchering, you'll see us all on the community chicken butchering. Pastor Dowell butchering deer. Pastor Dowell cow.
If y'all have more than y'all need, do y'all sell it?
Do we sell? No, we sell it to us.
Right.
Yeah, we keep it within us because we like eating our food. Because I'm going to tell you one thing too. We don't suffer the same sickness and diseases. The only time we ever get sick is whenever people come to the feast days and they bring it with us. They bring it into the community. Other than that, we don't deal with it much at all. We really truly don't. I mean, my mother and dad is 80 years old and they ain't even been to a doctor. And they didn't even go to the doctor until they was 80 years old. I ain't been to the doctor in years. I ain't been to the doctor since I got out of the military. I got out in 94. We do go to chiropractors, but we're not putting pharmakia in us.
Gentleman's question. The Ashkenazi have a butchering practice for kosher food.
Mm-hmm.
Is that biblical, non-biblical? Is
You know what
that
that?
we do?
You know what that practice for kosher foods is? A rabbi comes in and says hocus pocus boo boo, and it's clean. That's what now they got kosher pig. The Ashkenazi have kosher pig now. So you mean what? A rabbi does this? No. Just follow the dietary law. We do it. We don't eat things strangled with blood. No, you follow me? I mean, this is how we usually do it. If we're going to butcher, matter of fact, we're going to butcher 3 cows before tabernacles because people like eating beef. So we're going to shoot it in the head. They're going to run up to it and take a big old knife and we're going to cut his throat and then let the blood bleed out. We're going to get our backhoe, lift it up and let it bleed out some more. And then we're going to take another knife and go straight down the middle of it and get in that chest cavity, open it up and pull out all those guts. And we're going to throw the guts on the ground for the coyotes and everything else to eat up. And we're going to skin it. And then we're going to cut it and quarter it. And then we're going to take it to the kitchen. And then our sisters, they know how to make all these different cuts of meat. You know what I mean? And then they're going to put it in the refrigerator and they're going to be smiling while they're doing it. You following?
And it's good.
Yes, sir. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but is she in the faith? Is she an Israelite? I don't worry about it too much.
But is major surgery anything from a pharmacy?
Well, I would tell you this. See, we're not really stringent and stuff. Like we had an elder get into he didn't get into a truck accident. Walmart about dang near killed him. Are you following me? And he had a degloved foot. Are you following me? So now he's in the hospital. Now, there's a physician there. Are you following me? What does the Apocrypha say about a physician? Nobody knows what the Apocrypha said? Do y'all even read it? I'm not worried about the camps. I got you. Right. Well, get the Apocrypha and read it. It tells you about a physician. So he was in the place to be able to help take care of that. And then as soon as he got out of there, he's off of it. You get it? Does that make sense? Exactly. That's why I asked earlier, do you have sutras? Y'all know what a sutra is? Do y'all have any medical supplies? You need to get some aspirin. Store it up. You have any antibiotics? Do you even know what antibiotics is? What essential oil is an antibiotic? Do you know where to get it? How do you obtain it? How do you fight bacteria? All this stuff you need to learn, and it's out there. If you go to YouTube, you wouldn't believe how many people out there that is willing to give you all the knowledge in the world. The only problem is you ain't interested in it. You know when you get interested in it? When you need it. It's too late then. You need to have your mind. You need to shift your mind, everybody. Everybody shift your mind. And start thinking about preparation. Start thinking about homestead. Learn. If you don't know how to can, go to YouTube and find out somebody do and then do it. And keep doing it until you get it right. Store up your own food so that you know what's in it. Because I'm going to tell you what's in them food out there. Pesticides, herbicides, chemicals, Roundup. Are y'all hear me? Yes, sir. We got 35 people that live on the community there in Straightway right now, and nobody is on no prescription drugs. Well, except my mother and father now, because they ain't got old. And are you following me? Other than them two, nobody's on no prescription drugs. Nobody is under any doctor's care except them two. My mother just got finished having a stroke. This is where the blessing of polygyny comes in. To having a Shia that's 27 years old, one 47 years old, and then one 52. So if you have two people that's 80 years old and neither one of them can walk and take care of themselves, they can't even bathe themselves. Are you following me? Let's say if I get old. I'm going to get old, hopefully. You follow me? And I got a wife same age I am. She's not going to have the strength to be able to move me around. but the other one will. At the community, we have all these people because we grew up and they've been around us so long, 20-something years, everybody loves them. And so the sisters absorb that and they help take care of them. They feed them, they bathe them, they wash them, and then guess what? When they die, guess what we bury the people? On our community. Guess who digs the hole? Guess who makes the vault? Elder Doug does. We take them to the funeral home to get the casket. We don't embalm them. We stick them in the casket, have a graveside service, see a resurrection morning. No. See a resurrection. A dead person don't need embalming. And we see a resurrection morning. So you're going to experience death. You're going to experience life. Our sisters birth children. And we got sisters that would be on his wife, my daughter. They actually study for themselves. They don't have their world certification, but they just do it. I mean, it's not a medical nightmare for a woman to have a baby. Can you imagine they come pick you up in an ambulance and then they're going to sit here and put the public at risk, going down the streets like a bunch of maniacs just to get you in there on the table and shoot you up? None of our children has vaccines either. And guess what? We don't have one case of autism. Y'all hear that? Yes. We don't have no case of autism. The Amish and Mennonites, they don't go to the doctors to have babies. And guess what? They have 0 cases of autism. The Amish and Mennonite does. You go to the hospital, first thing they do, they can't wait for that baby to come out so they can go ahead and start shooting it up. And then and of course, and black people are more susceptible to getting autism than white people are. It's genocide. It'll make your mind numb, a bunch of drooling idiots. They do. That's what they want. It's an actual genocide. So if I'm telling you that this is what we do and this is how we live and it's working for us, it can work for you. But you're going to have to, if you just take one step in faith, as you go, the Most High Yah will open up the sea. He'll give you understanding. And if you need help to go out about doing it, we can help. Right. Good small area. Let me tell you something. We build homes all the time. All right. We build homes because we actually put our hand to the plow. What I did was I went out there and I saw people doing construction. And I would call my wife and tell her I'm not going to be home this evening or today because I found a construction crew and they'll let me work for them. And so I walked up on the construction site. And I said, hey, can I work with y'all? He says, but we're not hiring. I said, I don't want to be hired. I just want to work. He said, you want to work for free? Yeah, if it's what you want to call it, I just need the knowledge. That's how I learned 20-something years ago how to lay block. And then I went and implemented. Then I seen somebody framing a home. I didn't know all it was. I know one thing, you better be pretty damn good at math, boy, if you're going to frame a home, though. All right, you follow me? And so I saw the general practice, idea of what they were doing. And I'm a fast, I can pretty much see something and didn't do it. I made a few mistakes going, but I was able to frame a home. I actually laid almost all the blocks to the dining hall. I laid blocks to the assembly, didn't do the shower house. I laid almost all the blocks in my house that I live in. I just got finished building a house right across the street from us. And it's 24 by maybe 52 or 60, something like that, right? 3 bedroom, 2 bath. It cost me $40,000 in building material. $40,000 building material. No mortgage, no rent. It has a full kitchen, full bathroom, and it only took us about 3 or 4 months to build it. We could have probably did it in a month if we didn't have other things we were doing. Does that make sense? It's hard work. I'm 52 years old. I was out there this winter in Tennessee. It gets kind of cold in Tennessee. Not as cold as up here, but it gets cold. I was out there, me and the brother, and y'all seen us on the videos, didn't we? Laying blocks in 34-degree weather. I'm getting too old for that stuff. You understand what I mean? I can still do it because I somewhat take care of myself. Now, you follow me? You can do it. All you got to do is just put your mind to it. You literally can do it. Just stop thinking like them and the way they taught you to think. Wipe your mind of that mess. And then start living the way y'all intended for you to live. He said he will bless the labor of your hands. I'm one of the few pastors you know in the world who's got calluses on their hands. I seen that brother right there. I said, damn, that's how I used to look when I was in the military. I can't carry around that kind of weight right now. You know what I mean? Because body's starting to break down. The knees is. That boy, we sure could use him to carry some blocks, though, boy. Carry some blocks, boy. Come on over here. You want to learn how to lay blocks? We'll help you. Learn how to build a home. Okay, so hey, I wasn't able to get there. They cut the time down considerably. I was hoping that we'd have 2 hours, but hey, you know how it is, things don't always work like that. But if you want to actually know more, all right, I'm gonna give you my word, because a lot of stuff I don't like putting on YouTube, because YouTube is always, they give me hell. I'm serious. They hate it because I talk about the homosexuals and the LGBTQ, EFG, and they can't. They hate it. And next thing you know, I'm banned. I got strikes against my account. I'm flagged. I'm like, what the world? So over at Pateron, I can say what I want to say. So I don't like casting my pearls before swine. I don't like giving that which is holy unto dogs. So I would rather for someone that, if you want to come over to Pateron, if we're going to do homesteading videos, I'll keep it at $1 level. Okay, because I don't think you can watch it for free anyway. You understand what I mean? There's $1 level all the way to $100 level. You want to support, you want to see what I do with the money? All you got to do is pay attention. You'll see it. It goes straight to everything in the ministry. Straight to everything in the ministry. So I'll leave it at the $1 level, and I'll start talking about it. And I'll have even the sisters to start talking about homesteading on there and what they do. They have a sister to sisters channel. It's all on my YouTube page. You can learn everything in the world you need to learn. You can even learn. And if you got questions, I already got my Ashaya starting to answer the question. What she'll do is come and ask me what the answer is. She'll go back and type it. So I'm getting better. I'm getting better at answering because, I'm kind of pulled really thin. Really thin. I'm working on a homestead in Georgia. We got people so beautiful that they just gave. I had a lady in the ministry gave me a home and 5.5 acres with fruit trees and raised beds already on it, and greenhouses, and a barn. You know what I did? Moved one of my wives in it. And you know what I'm gonna do? When I get that house finished up there, I'm going to move a family in there. A mixed couple. I'm going to move them in there. Why them? They got an excellent spirit. Just beautiful people. They've been part of the ministry. They just come and go. I probably see them, but I've discerned they got an excellent spirit. So guess what? They get to live on that land debt-free, just for being righteous. Just being, how many people live there and we're going to be done?
Where?
In Straightway, Georgia.
Where I'm at?
Yeah.
17 in the house.
And we got 2 homes down there. He got one over there and one around the corner. And when we finish this home, we're going to move that woman that gave the $54,000. We're going to move her in that house. We're remodeling the whole entire thing right now as we speak. Just got finished putting a new roof on it. Going to remodel the whole thing. And here, sister, you move on in there, live out your days. Got another 5.5 acres. And I built almost a 3,000 square foot home in South Carolina. Massive building. It's huge. And I'm not even going to live in it. And I contribute greatly, probably 80% to it. I'm not looking for nothing in return. What I'm going to do with money if y'all give it to me? Put it back in Israel. And an elder there and his family and all of them, they take care of it. Elder mentioned him, lived stacked up. When I went down to Texas, him and his brother, I looked at this house, 2 bachelors. I said, man, y'all think y'all players. The hell is this, man? Look at this. Motorcycles, cars, 2-story homes. Man, this is an abomination. Y'all sell this thing. Oh man, I don't think it's gonna sell, Pastor. Ain't you what you said, Brother Greg? I don't think it's gonna sell. If your heart is right, it'll sell. How long it take to sell? 1 month. So, out, debt free. They worked, they moved in together, rented a place, have 4 or 5 families. How much money did you save up?
Over $100,000.
$100,000. How long did it take?
A year, less than a year.
Less than a year. When you have all these people pooling together, and now, how many acres of land do you got up in Kentucky?
85.
85 acres.
Hallelujah.
Also have a home paid for on it too, don't you? Big one too, don't you? And that's something. Paid for. The blessing of the Lord is rich and has no sorrow.
Hallelujah.
That's exactly it. But we Deuteronomy 28.
Come on.
We too envious, too jealous.
Yeah.
Simply because you can't trust nobody. I give. I promise I do. People give, I give. I even got a business where I make money my own self. I give all of it. I have no need of nothing. We have all things common, and everybody is fine. Isn't everybody happy? And we are happy. You want to leave the community? No. You?
Absolutely not.
Okay, last question. We done. Sorry, Ranger. Go ahead.
It's not a question, but just when I was saying that's what other nations do. When my grandparents first moved to Chicago, what they did, they moved from Mississippi, and they doing just what y'all did. When they moved to Chicago and their family moved from up north, they came and stayed with them. And then they all stayed in the house together until, they got jobs or whatever, and then they bought a house, and they kept doing it. And my grandfather, he owned several businesses in Chicago in the 60s and 70s. And
That's good.
And that's what they did.
And
is you doing the same thing?
yeah, and we got brothers and sisters own businesses, bring in money and revenue. There's only one thing unique about this ministry, though. You know why? You know what it is? Our family don't like us. I have not been able to. I can't even pick up the phone and dial a natural family member on my father or mother's side. Not one. Yeah, I can't even jump in a vehicle and drive to one of them house.
Brother, sister?
Don't know where they at. And it's not me. I'm easy to find. It's because they don't like the way. And they call me a cult leader, a crackpot, a fanatic, and a kook. So I'm going to stay what? A cult leader, a crackpot, a fanatic. Is that what you think of me? Good. I'm not trying to remove that from you. I'm not angry and bitter at them. But what am I doing that is so wrong? What am I doing that's so wrong? What I'm doing is right. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall do what? You just heard the truth and hope you get free.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. All right. Bless y'all. Appreciate y'all coming. I'm sorry. I guess I'm going to be speaking tomorrow, too. Yes, sir.